Hi, I'm Meredith from Let's Go Canine Training, and I wanted to show you how to set up your remote e-collar. I prefer the mini educator. You can also get a Dogtra. I want to get a cheaper collar from the pet store that usually goes from level 1 to 10, level 1 to 15, because usually from level 1 to 2 is just way too much for the dog. For the mini educator, it's usually level 1 to 100. The Dogtra, I believe, is a level 1 to 127. So to set up your remote e-collar, you will want to turn your collar on. So you'll just hold in the button and it'll turn on. And it'll flash green right here. And it'll say 1D. I don't know if you can see it, 1D. That means that it's just a 1-dog collar. If you have a 2-dog collar, it'll flash 1D, and then if you go to so if you're on black, it'll go to the red and be 2D. But this is just a 1-dog collar. So, this is the knob. It just turns up and down your levels. The T button right here just means tone. It's like a vibrate. I don't usually use that because most dogs are way too sensitive for it. You have your charger right here, so that's where you plug the charger in, and for the collar right here. Your button right here is MC, which means momentary or continuous, or momentary continuous. You have your black and red buttons. So I usually use the red button for most clients. You can use either or, but I usually use the red button. So that way when you're going up and down, it's a lot easier to use. Now for your momentary or continuous, I usually keep it on, I don't know if you can see, on MC. That's the one I prefer clients to use and what I use for the momentary continuous. You can press this button and just have, if you just want to use the black button, you can have it on momentary or continuous. But then if you press the red button, it's going to be a booster, so it's going to go up 5 levels or even up to 20 levels depending on how you programmed it. So for owners not to make that mistake, because I usually don't have clients use the booster, that's why I keep it on MC for momentary continuous. And you can use either or, the black or red button, but it's just easier to use the red button as you're dialing up in levels. It's just your preference and how you want to use the collar, but that's my recommendation. Another cool feature is you can turn your collar as a flashlight. But first, to turn the collar on, you will find a red dot and a red dot right here. So you just connect them and it turns green. That means you know the collar's on. So they're both will flash green. If you're not stemming or holding any buttons down and it flashes orange or red, you know the collar's dying and you're going to want to charge it. If I tap or hold the button down, it'll be red, and that means you know it's working. So if it's flashing red or orange, you know it's dying. If it's flashing green, you know it's on and working, the battery's good. Pretty much fully charged. If you tap or hold the button down, you know, and it's red, you know it's working. If you do it and if it's flashing red or orange, you know it's dying. So another cool feature, like I was saying, is you can have like a little flashlight. So you just press where it says on off one time and it'll flash, or like that. And that's just a really cool feature to have if your dog's outside and you want to be able to see them in the dark. It's kind of a neat feature. So that's the basics of the collar. This is to go up and down. You can lock I don't know if you can see, but if I hold this button down, it'll lock. So I believe it's on level 17 right now, so I can't go up or down. And that's a really cool feature. You don't really need it for the one dog collar, but it's a really cool feature if you have like the 2-dog system, and say the black button is for the first dog and you need it, dog's usually on a 17, you can just lock it at 17. That way when you're hitting the red button for the second dog and the dog's a lot more sensitive and a lower level, you're not going to accidentally hit 17 for the more sensitive dog. So that's another cool feature. But for the 1-dog system, you don't really need to do that. Again, it just depends on if you know. Usually you're going to have to go up and down anyway when you're first teaching. And outside can be more distractions, so you might have to go up a little bit versus inside the house. Now for the collar, you have your contact points right here. I don't know if you can see them. Your remote collar pack comes with longer contact points as well for your bigger dogs who maybe have longer hair. You might have to trade these out, contact points out, for the longer, thicker contact points. It also comes with a cool little clear thing that you can put on top of the contact points, and basically you put it on top of the contact points and you either tap or hold down, and it basically will show you, it's like a little orange looking color, that your collar is properly working. And you always want to do that before you put it on the dog anyway, just to double check. Again, Many Educator's a really good collar, so you shouldn't have any issues. But if you do, they have really good customer service, and they usually get back to you right away and usually replace your collar if you have any issues, which rarely happens, but if it does, they're really good, which is another reason why I like the Many Educator. So for the collar, you have your collar right here, and when you put it on the dog, you'll figure out which hole to go through. Another cool thing they have now is a bungee collar, which I plan on getting. It's a really cool feature that instead of having to constantly put it through a hole or figure out which hole, because sometimes you need the dog's neck will extend and stuff, and it makes it actually better fit for the collar, is getting a bungee collar. And you can also get that on ecollar.com or even Amazon. It's a really cool thing. I plan on getting a couple of those. You have a really good fit instead of like trying to guess which hole it's through, especially if you're going to use the collar for multiple dogs and it's always going to be the same dog. But for now, what it comes with, you can just put it through the hole that it fits on your dog's neck. So once you kind of figure that out, then you're going to want to put 2 fingers through and make sure it's a good snug fit. So you should still be able to put 2 fingers through, but it's not too loose. So once you figure that out, then you have it on your dog's neck. I usually prefer it like up here, and then if they kind of itch for a second or they kind of shake their head, it might come down here a little bit, and that's okay. But kind of start like up here, and then it might go down a little bit. When the contact points are hitting your dog's skin, if the collar is going with the dog's neck like this, that means you have a good fit. If the collar is kind of going up and down like this, it's too loose, and you're going to want to tighten it a little bit. Don't be afraid of thinking it's too tight, because it's not. It's a good snug fit, and you should be able to fit 2 fingers through when you have it on. So that's kind of a basic of how to have the collar on. Again, if the collar is like this and it's just going with the dog's skin, that means you have a good fit. If it's going up and down like this, it's too loose. Another thing is, when you have this on your dog, if you're going to have it on for more than an hour or 2, you're going to want to switch sides. Because if you leave it on one side for too long and the dog's maybe scratching at it, or maybe it is too loose of a fit, you could end up getting pressure sores eventually with your dog, and that's what you don't want. So switch it from side to side if you're going to keep it on for longer than an hour or 2 with your dog. And that's pretty much it of how to set up your e-collar. your remote any collar. Have a good day.